right, hi there, I'm Wael with Sabeel Combatives. This is Byron. We're going to show you the elbow hammer lock, which is one of, in my opinion, the best techniques for security and control. Now, typically I teach it off a one-handed push, but it could also be done against a punch. It could be done against a low stab to the belly, or it can be done offensively. So let's take it off a one-handed push, and we'll do it full speed to start with. And now I'll break that down. So let's come in with that hand. So when he comes in with that push, I'm just going to come on top of it and redirect it downward. And you see how that brings his elbow up a little bit? I come over the top and I make my hand into this sort of hook, and I hook the elbow. And then as I pull on the elbow, I push on the wrist. So you have this opposing motion here. So I pull the elbow toward me. You see how he does all the moving? I don't really need to move much. This hand now comes up. You see that hand right there? And the blade of the hand inserts into the crook of the elbow. Now I'm sure you can see that. Now, to tighten the lock, all I have to do is lift with my elbow back here. So if you turn around. So you can see how my elbow here is, his wrist is hooked into my elbow. So when I lift my elbow, it brings his arm up along his back, and it tightens the lock, creating a shoulder lock. Now, I may not, when I do that, his natural inclination is going to be to move away from the pain by bending down, or right? Now, I don't want him to do that if I want to walk him out. So what I do is, there's a little pressure point right in between the pec and the deltoid, and the front deltoid here. You'll feel a groove right there. You can find it very easily. You just slide down the shoulder, and there it is. So, and when the arm is behind the back, it seems to expose that nerve. It's a lot more painful than when the arm is hanging down by the side. So if he's, say, bending over here, I dig in there with my fingers and I bring him up. And then from here, I would just rush him out wherever, like out the door or whatever. Or if I'm a law enforcement officer and I'm looking to handcuff him, I'm going to spiral him down to the ground. So I'm going to bring him in the direction toward this trapped shoulder. So I'm going to control his shoulder here, and I'm just going to take him around and down until he hits the ground. I flatten him out. Oh. Control that arm behind his back, scoop the other one up, and then handcuff him. It wouldn't work well against a high punch because you have to come all the way over the top to get there. I mean, you could do that. You could parry here and maybe put your fingers in the eyes. This is sometimes called a slide, right? Where you slide in on the punch. And then from there, you pull on that, you hook it, and you're in. One of the escapes for him is just to spin in that direction. Nope, the other way, yeah. And he's out, right? So it's really necessary to control the shoulder. Some people like to control the opposite shoulder. I've found from experience that doesn't really work so well. Here, let's do this hand. So I'm in here. So because his defense is to spin that way, some people will come across here and grab this shoulder, but it doesn't stop him from doing that. Going the other way.
Okay.
He can still get out. It doesn't help. So I think that controlling the cross shoulder is not a great idea. So here, I think it's better to control this side. Either by controlling this shoulder or by coming around and controlling the chin. So you could control the chin with the hand like I'm doing here, or you can come all the way in and get that chin in the crook of your elbow if you can. And then in this case, you would probably need to walk him backward. There's a lock called a harness lock, which you could do on someone who's very flexible. I used to be. So sometimes these sorts of locks won't work on people who are extremely flexible because they can wiggle out of them very easily. So with the harness lock, I sink in this elbow hammer lock, and then what I'm going to do is with this arm, I'm going to come around his head, reach all the way down, and grab my own hand. So here's this hand here, I reach all the way around, I come down. That's not going to happen with Byron.
All right.
So I have that in there. I reach all the way around, and I hook my hands together right there. So this one is controlling the arm. This one comes around the head, and boom. But that'll only work if the person is very flexible and probably thin. If you have a combative young woman, feel free to use the harness lock. That'll keep her in place. She won't get out of that. So against a low stab coming into the belly, I'm here. I call this the wedge in. There's no time to make a circle, right? I can't make a circle with my arm. I'm going to get stabbed. I have to match his thrust with my thrust, almost like I'm putting my hand in his pocket. Now, for this particular application, I'm not going to work the elbow here. I'm going to work the shoulder instead. But it's essentially the same thing. Instead of pulling on the elbow, I'm going to pull on the shoulder. And it has to happen very soon at the very beginning. At the same time, there's no time. Because if I make this entry first and I haven't pulled on the shoulder, his arm just curls around my neck. Yes. Pulling on the shoulder. So you see, the arm bends this way, right? But as I pull on that shoulder, now it bends in toward him. And as I pull on it more, now it bends behind him. That's what I want. That's what I want to get to. So he comes in, I pull on that very strongly, and now you see the arm bends away from me. That's what I want. I come around to the back of the hand, and you see there's a gooseneck lock going on there. I haven't even done anything. It's already there. I just tighten it up. Be aware that they're not holding the knife at this point. It looks like they are, but it's just an illusion. You take it away. Strike him with the butt of the knife. Maybe cut him on the back. Stab his hand. Something non-lethal. Or if you're a law enforcement officer, take him down and handcuff him. So that's your elbow hammer lock. It's a very, very important lock to know. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll make another video. Sorry for pointing the knife at you. Thank you. Please subscribe.